2026 Silver State Indoor RC Championships.
Jazz hands are up. They're topping off the tanks. We'll be ready for the down and quiet next.
All right, here we go.
Standing by. Marshals are ready. Drivers are ready. Green flag is in the air, and we are underway. 45 minutes for the Pro Nitro Buggies.
Fee Long Nguyen leads the field around. First couple corners looking clean right now. Van Dalen and Mayfield making a little bit of contact there in the concrete. Mayfield getting shuffled down a couple spots. That's going to allow Van Dalen and Long get out just a little bit here. And here comes Lutz.
So far out of the gate, Fee Long Nguyen, who was delayed on the start. They were working on his machine. Things seem to be okay for now.
Rough one there for Rivkin in the beginning. Got to the inside pipe, landed upside down. Nguyen, Van Dalen, and Mayfield was how they started. They're coming across the line. Nguyen, Van Dalen, and Lutz.
Through the corners. Nguyen, Van Dalen, Lutz, Mayfield, Drake, your top five.
Nguyen climbing up the hill there through the gentle bend. See these buggies bouncing around a little bit, charging hard through the rumblers, trying to stay in that middle smooth section. Van Dalen keeping the pressure on the back of Nguyen here.
Now within about 3 car lengths there for the position. They go double-double. Van Dalen putting a lot of pressure down the back of Fee Long Nguyen. A 39 flat. Van Dalen a 38.8. Onto the concrete portion of our track. A lot of the drivers before the race, when they were allowed to go onto the track after the intermediate Nitro Buggy A-main, majority of the drivers went over to check on that concrete patch.
He's expecting about 4 pit stops in this one. 45-minute final. They'll come at the 8, the 16, the 24, and that'll bring them to the 34, and then one more after that. Probably 5 pit stops in this one, my bad.
Oh, and Fee took a control cartwheel, but he still keeps the lead.
Yeah.
And here comes Van Dalen, who's trying to challenge. Does he try the crossover? They're side by side.
Whoa. Van Dalen woes up there coming up to gentle bend, gives Fee the line. Fee had a bit of breathing room, made a bobble, and Van Dalen says, "You're not getting that from me again." Fee getting a little wide there. Van Dalen having to woe up one more time.
It's like he almost hit that rut there and knocked it out of pace.
Oh, side by side. Around the outside, can Van Dalen make it stick?
More contact again. Van Dalen to the point.
Races his way to the front. An outside move there coming through the doubles. Fee trying to charge back up on that inside line. Can't make it stick. They both stab the brakes there as Van Dalen slams the door in his face. Up the gentle bend one more time. Van Dalen leads the way. Oh, you see him getting a little crossed up there up the face, but able to save it. Lots of big-time counter steers happening. And it is now Mayfield has gotten by Lutz, and Lutz actually down to 5th as Fuller up to 4th. Mayfield running in that 3rd position right now.
Van Dalen starting to extend that lead. Just ran his fastest time, a 38.5. Nguyen with a 39.2. Mayfield with a 38.7. Fuller with a 38.4.
Our leader Van Dalen with a little bit of breathing room now. He's got about a corner and a breath of space to work with here as he comes down the hill over the speed bump section at the 180. The downhill double. There goes Fee. Fee went long. Trying to hold off a hard charge. It looks like Fuller has gotten by Mayfield. Fuller now to the 3 spot. Mayfield with a 41-second lap. We've got to assume it was a bobble.
Van Dalen just ran his fastest lap of the race. Fee hanging there in that 2nd position. Fuller, Mayfield, Lutz, your top 5. Taking a look right there at your race leader of Van Dalen.
Seth with his hot lap of 37.9 that time by. One of the few drivers down into the 37s. The only other one is Camden Lime, and he's stuck down in that 13th position. Quick update on the running orders. Van Dalen Nguyen, Fuller, Mayfield, Lutz, Rivkin, Contreras, Wiggins, Spinrad, Wilson, Savoya, Drake, Lime, Setzer, and Fenster rounding out our running order. Biggest mover in the field is Spinrad as we pick up this battle for the 2 spot between Nguyen and Fuller.
Fuller starting to catch the rear end there of Nguyen as Van Dalen has extended his lead to 2.5 seconds now. The battle is on for the number 2 position. They go over the single.
Oh, no!
The thing gets turned around. Fuller's able to get around him. So Nguyen got trapped up there, did a nice spin, able to keep it moving, and now Mason Fuller makes his way to position 2.
Yeah, as we saw, there's a bit of a pothole right there in the center of the corner. Went in just a little too hot, spun the car around. He's not going to do that again. And Fuller now to the 2 spot, going to try to set his sights on the back of Van Dalen, but Van Dalen now 4.7 seconds ahead of this group. As Fuller and Nguyen continue to battle it out here. Coming down the hill, into the rumblers, over the speed jump. You see him going to the high side there. Squares up across that pothole. On the high side, things are down low. Goes double and double with the crosstown too to save some time. Van Dalen already at the line. 4.7 was the gap last time by. They make up a bit of time. 4.0 now the gap as Fuller checks in with his new hot lap, as does Nguyen.
Yeah, right there behind him with that 38.2. Mayfield and Lutz round out the top 5. Rivkin in 6. Jared Wiggins in 7th. 8th is Walker Spinrad. 9th, Jonah Wilson. 10th, Reno Savoya.
Fuller charging down the hill, back up to the speed bump now. Finds himself coming down the hill. Money's that downside. In control here as he tries to reel in Van Dalen. You can see him just off the bottom of the shot.
Van Dalen extending his lead until just then. Fuller comes back across about 2 seconds faster than Van Dalen. The margin is now down to 2.3.
Van Dalen a little too relaxed on that last lap. Going to have to start picking up the pace here as these guys are closing fast. Can't give up 2 seconds at a time when the gap is only 4.
You can sniff the rear end of Van Dalen now. Seeing your shot. 1, 2, 3. With 4th place, Ryan Mayfield just now coming into the picture.
Man, Fuller's car looking good right now. He's consistently able to square up on the doubles and then cross the second double. Made up another 2 seconds, 1.9. Now a separation only half a second as they came across the stripe because here comes Fuller for the lead.
Fuller sent it in. He's had a quiet week so far. Fuller now on the rear bumper. Now within a car length or 2. Trying to go for the race lead.
Van Dalen sees him charging hard, going to start trying to push that pace. See him getting a little more careful. Oh, bobble there by Van Dalen coming down the hill. Gets it upside down. Freebie pass for Fuller.
New race leader, Mason Fuller. He'll take control, and immediately after he does, he comes down pit road.
8-minute mark, first round of pit stops coming in. Fuller, first one into the pits. Nguyen coming in right behind him. 6.0 the stop for Fuller, 6.09 the stop for Nguyen. Identical pit stops. Rivkin into the pits, Wiggins into the pits. Everybody coming in around the 8-minute mark. A couple drivers waiting for the open track. Back on board with Van Dalen. Will be the current race leader as he did not pit that last time by. Going to try to take advantage of the clear pit lane. No, going to go by one more time.
Open track in front of him. No lap traffic for the time being. Sets Van Dalen. That last time a 38.9. Mayfield there behind him. A 38.4. About a 2-second lead currently on Ryan Mayfield.
According to our information, Van Dalen and Mayfield did not stop yet. Got 9 minutes on the
Mayfield.
match. Oh, that's not what he needed.
Wasn't sure if he completely flipped over. It's out of our screen now currently. The shot in right-hand corner for pit road. Here comes your race leader.
A 9-minute strategy will get him -1 over the 7.5-minute strategy, and that's what they're up to right now. Mayfield down and away in the oh-so-capable hands of Mike Tree. Van Dalen down and away as well. Van Dalen with a 4.9. Mayfield with a 6.1
And he
stop.
took a tumble there. Here comes Fuller on the rear end. Van Dalen had a fast pit stop. Took a flip, but kept it under control. 1-2, the battle for the race lead.
Fee now in the mix here. As this is Van Dalen with a mirror full. Pit stop cycling through. See Fuller running third right now, and that's Mayfield fourth in line. Here they come across the line to make it official. Slightly differing pitch strategies here is Mayfield and Van Dalen on 9-minute strategy. That should put a -1 stop on the field, but going to have to be very careful on those pit stops, make sure they fill her all the way up. See Drake checking in on the 10-minute strategies. He just comes into the pit lane.
Van Dalen win. They're a contact, wheel to wheel. Here they go with the right-hander. New leader, Phi-Long Nguyen.
I think the pit mechanics realize this pitch strategy difference, and these guys on the extra stop going to have to push the pace. They're going to have to keep themselves a 5-6 second gap the whole time. Oh, Fuller and Van Dalen almost making contact there, but it is Phi-Long Nguyen at the front, our top qualifier.
Oh, it said that they collide midair. The top three make contact.
That was second, third, and fourth. Van Dalen and Fuller making contact in the air. Mayfield getting caught up in the carnage. Mayfield comes out on the top of that group. He has some open track, going to try to put his head down and run. Van Dalen to the third spot. Fuller down to fourth. Oh, no, check that.
They
Fuller
both get contact. Both of them get contact down there.
Van Dalen tried to push the issue, got into the back of Fuller.
Is now Nguyen starting to drive away. Take a look at here one more time.
Going to be a bit of an over jump here. Catches him.
Clipped him.
Yeah, crossing lines. And Mayfield got collected in that 2-3 cars making contact in the air. You don't see that every day. Back on board with Fuller and Van Dalen now. That battle for the 3 spot as Mayfield and Nguyen try to check out. Nguyen and Mayfield at the bottom of the shot with a bit of a gap. Fuller pushing hard right now. Mayfield and Van Dalen, like we said, on that 9-minute pitch strategy. Nguyen and Fuller on the regular 7.5, 8-minute strategy. Big air there for Fuller. No problem there for Van Dalen. Got a little crossed up. We pick up Nguyen here at the front. Coming down the hill with there's Mayfield just in tow. Mayfield trying to make something happen. Made up a couple tenths last time by, did a 38.9 for Nguyen, 38.2 for Mayfield. 7 tenths closer for Mayfield.
Right now, biggest mover, Jared Wiggins. He's moved his way up to the 6th position after starting 12th. Biggest loser right now, Ryan Lutz, started 5th, moved down to the 11th position.
Yeah. So you had a 9-minute strategy. You've got 9 minutes, 18 minutes, 27 minutes, 36 minutes, and 45 minutes exactly for a 5-stop strategy. The stops are going to be a little bit slower because it takes longer to put that extra minute's worth of fuel in there, but you're only talking the difference of a couple seconds, so these guys are going to be on the hustle. And Nguyen starting to stretch out for Mayfield a little bit. Mayfield actually closing the gap, 1.7 now. Oh, we got a flame out in the center section.
Nguyen now the leader, a 2.5 margin over Ryan Mayfield. Fuller sits about 5.5 seconds behind the leader. Then you got Rifkin and Wiggins, your top 5.
Mayfield going yard in that center tabletop. Looks
so
like
we're being told, Jonah Wilson is going to be the one with the flame out.
Nguyen still at the front. Separation last time by, they went even for even. Mayfield made up about 1/2 tenth at best. And you see him closing that gap just a little bit there. They're both in the 4-pack together. Nguyen going to come across the line, 38.5. 6 tenths coming back to Mayfield now as he continues to hunt down young Phi Nguyen.
Now, after what was a bit of a frantic start for Phi, not getting his car out on the grid, they had to delay it just a few moments to get his car going. Now for the young man, starting to calm the nerves a little bit. Now he's starting to get into a groove a bit.
Yeah, you can see that early on. He wasn't as smooth. Now seems to be hitting his marks. But when you got Mayfield hunting you down, you can't be that smooth. You got to be a little aggressive. We saw a slight bobble for Mayfield a couple corners back, so that should cool this off just a little bit. Yeah, 3 tenths going back to young Nguyen, but still only a 1.3 gap. Nguyen can see Mayfield in his peripherals there, and that is no easy play. Oh, no, bobble there by Nguyen. After the center table, going to give a freebie to Mayfield now as he moves to the front of the leaderboard.
He had an additional bobble there for a moment as Mayfield, he'll take over the race lead. Ryan Mayfield, just a few laps ago to set the fastest time of the race with a 37.8.
Gets it a little wrong there through the double. Stays committed, goes tops to tops. Mayfield pushing hard right now. Nguyen's got to stay in contact if he wants a shot at this one.
Lee Setzer back there behind him. Just came down pit road.
And Mayfield charging hard. He's been using the long line there through the tabletop pretty consistently. Top side section of the track. Maneuvering through the gentle bend area. Coming down. Oh, almost had a moment there as he gets into the rumbles. You get a little to the inside or the outside. That section can be a devastator. Look down the line here. I see the red bar for Lutz as he is falling down the leaderboard rapidly. Finally comes across the line, 50.6.
Here comes Nguyen on pit road.
Pit stop's happening now as we're at the 15-minute mark. Nguyen in the pits, Fuller in the pits. Mayfield now as we see that 9-minute strategy coming into play with the track advantage. Typically going to be behind as those cycle through, but Mayfield's pace too much for his competitors right now as he continues to circulate the track. He'll be coming in probably about 2 more minutes. Up and over the doubles he goes, looking clean. See how they cross town just a little bit, kind of making it so they're jumping to the apex. Running to the high side, nice and smooth. Last time by for Mayfield, a 38.8. Wins out of the pits on a 43. Fuller right behind him on a 43.
Got a little dicey there.
Yeah.
As he now gets to the concrete portion.
He's playing a little safe on that top side. They're realizing if they run out to that pipe corner, that pipe is getting dug out underneath and they might get hung up.
Mayfield, who already has 2 wins already this weekend, trying to make it a third. 28 minutes to go for Ryan Mayfield. Nguyen in second. Third is Fuller. Fourth, Van Dalen. Rifkin rounding out your top 5.
Spin rat into the pits, down and away. Mayfield getting some help from the traffic there. It's probably 2 more laps, and we'll see Mayfield and probably Van Dalen coming into the pits together.
Nguyen just ran his fastest lap of the race, a 38 flat.
Here comes Mayfield working up on back. I believe maybe that's fenced. Down the hill one more time. Ducks to the inside of that little speed bump. Goes double-double, little nose high on that one. Right-hander as Mayfield comes through, wheels up. See it with another hot lap. Fuller with a hot lap.
Yeah, Fuller runs a 38 flat.
Mayfield charging up the hill right now. We expect him into the pits this time by. Van Dalen into the pits. He's coming in right at 17:58. A little extended lap here. He's going to be, oh no, gets spun.
Van Dalen at 5.86 on pit road.
Mayfield now at 18 minutes. Oh no, a bobble at the end of the doubles. Cannot afford that. Back on his wheel is going to be straight to pit lane.
Here comes Mayfield.
Truey on the gun.
Great shot by our team.
Making sure it's all the way full.
6.43.
That's going to move Fee back to the front as Fee starts to crack the whip. 37.6 for Fee last time by.
Another fast lap.
Don't think that Mayfield stayed out ahead of Fuller. According to timing and scoring, that may be the case. Oh no, Fee getting it wrong. Can't let that happen. Getting a little squirrely here. You cannot give Mayfield anything to work with. Fee across the line that time by 39.7, not doing himself any favors. Fuller in the 2 spot, 37.9. Mayfield had a 44 in lap and a 44 out lap. Gave these guys about 4 free seconds.
Fast lap for Mason Fuller now at 37.9. About a second and a half behind Nguyen. Mayfield sits about 7 seconds behind the race leader as well.
It would have been 3, but that bobble coming out of the double cost him dearly. As Nguyen, a bit of a lead now, 1.7 seconds over our reigning champion, Mason Fuller. Fee up. Mount turn 20th. Over the center side double. Through the speed roller. Wheels up on the way down. See him using that fast guy line to the outside. Squirting across the concrete. Going to have some lap traffic with him. Sure he's going to get the room he needs here in the Pro Division. Oh, you see him.
Another bobble there once more.
Pushing hard here. Found a rut at the top. Going to try to mark that one mentally and avoid it in the future. Perfect on the downside there. You saw him accelerate up the hill, actually.
20 minutes down, 25 minutes to go. Approaching our halfway point here in the Pro Nitro Buggy A-Main, our final race of the weekend here in the 2026 Silver State Championship.
And this is Fee, I want to say, is that Lutz that he's with right now? Yeah, Fee coming around to lap Lutz here early on. Did not have the start he was looking for. Whoa, down the center strip he goes. A little aggressive there. Fuller still 1.6 seconds off the back of Fee.
He's nipping at him one bit at a time.
Actually, here he comes. Fee did some mediocre 38s. Fuller did a little better 38s. They come across the line together.
Nguyen with a 39.3. Fuller with a 38.1. He's knocking on the doorstep.
Only 0.4 the gap last time across. Oh, if he gets it wrong in the center table, that's going to allow Fuller a freebie as he's on by. Mason Fuller, your new race leader. Could this be the start of back-to-back championships here in the Pro Nitro Buggy division for Mason Fuller?
Fuller to the point. He's been pretty quiet this weekend. He came in on Wednesday after practice and talked about how the track hasn't come to him. He's been adjusting to it all week long. Now he finds himself at the front with 23.5 minutes to go.
Falling into a rhythm here, hitting good lines, being very consistent, mid to low 38-second laps, making these guys work for it. Fuller to the top of the hill. Nguyen just with him there. Come down, jumping into the middle of the rumbles. We got some crash traffic in front of him. He moves out the way. Fee now starting to bring the pressure back to Fuller. Through the doubles they go. Crosstown action, nice and smooth. Finds that bump one more time.
Both cars under a blanket here.
Fee putting the pressure on. Seems to be Fee's a little more comfortable to race from the rear. Chase these guys down, can use them as his braking points. Easy to time the jumps, you do what they're doing. Trying to take a break here. Put in some consistent laps, keep the pressure on Fuller. 38.4 for Fuller last time by, a quicker 30 flat. Fee?
He hasn't gone away yet. He's still sticking with them right there after Fee lost the lead.
If anything, he's quickened here a little bit since Fuller has gotten by. Much lower 38-second laps these last few times around.
All the cars you see on the left of your screen coming down pit road.
Wing high there as they come through the table section. Looks like that is Lutz, I think, or maybe Camden Lime, they say. Camden Lime in the 5th spot, being pulled off the track as we got Rivkin into the pits at the 23-minute mark.
We're being told it is Camden Lime.
Fee looking here on Fuller. Fuller says, you're going to have to go around the outside, son.
Lurking in the shadows. They both come down pit road together.
Up and away. One-man pit stops for both of them. Down and away together. Is that Marsh? Mechanic picking up a car. I thought that was Fee. Fuller a little bit quicker on the way out. They got a lapper in the middle. That's not a lapper. I'm sorry. That's Ryan Mayfield.
Yes.
Mayfield on that longer pitch stop strategy, as we have mentioned. Now into the mix with these guys. Mayfield running second, going to try to keep this pace. Fuller and Nguyen. Almost taking a look to the inside on Mayfield.
Almost identical pit times. Fuller with the 5.4, Nguyen with a 5.5.
Mayfield pushing hard right now. He's got these guys' numbers. All of them coming across the line together. Fuller, Mayfield, Nguyen at the front. Multiple Silver State champions, 2 in battle here.
So after 20 minutes, with 20 minutes to go. They're all three right there together. Mayfield with the problem.
Mayfield and Nguyen get side by side in gentle bend. They touch wheels. Mayfield gets upside down, stayed that way, had to get marshaled. Going to be furious about that one as you see several seconds off the back of this group now. I want to say that's pretty much a racing deal. It looked like he was almost moving over to let Fee have the line, but they got crossed up and touched wheels.
Some great racing going on right here at the front of this field.
Mayfield 6 seconds off the back, almost 7 seconds off the back of the lead battle now. As Nguyen and Fuller continue to battle it out at the front. Oh, lost Fuller there for just a second, but he's back.
Under 20 minutes to go. Nguyen, Fuller, Mayfield, Rivkin, Van Dalen, your top 5. Savoia, Drake, Wiggins, Lutz, Finster, your top 10. Lutz starting to climb up just a bit after the rough start. He went as low as 13th. He's now back up to 9th.
Mason, Fuller, Fee, Long, Nguyen working together right now. Fee has it at the moment. Fuller got a taste of that lead, wants it back. As we've mentioned, bobble coming through the rumbles. Yeah, a little too hot on that outside line. Threw the buggy for a wild ride. Didn't really lose a ton of time. You can see still in very close contact with our race leader. Around the 180 to go.
Waiting with a bobble. He sticks right there with them.
38.7 to a 39.2, so could have been a whole lot worse. Only 4/10. Slap into the flats there.
Mayfield, 9 seconds behind this battle currently.
Mayfield due into the pits any time now. Rivkin now up to the 4th spot. Van Dalen down to 5. As we pick up Mason Fuller, trying to put the pressure on the back of Fee.
Great work by some of our lappers, moving out of the way, letting the top 2 battle it out. Nguyen, your race leader, hard on the brakes, trying to extend the lead over Fuller. A 38.3 to Fuller's 38.6.
Fee looking pretty comfortable right now as Mayfield dips into the pits at minute 27. He is down and away with a 6.1 full tank of gas. He was at 9.8 seconds back. He'll probably be about 13, 14 seconds back off our lead battle now. He may have fallen back into the clutches of Spencer Rivkin. Fee across the stripe. New hot lap for Fee Long and new hot lap of the race.
37.415.
Fee pushing very hard right now. He's trying to gap out 2 seconds, the biggest lead he's had all race long, and it's only 2 seconds. Down the hill, going to the high side there. That inside line is a no-man's zone now. There's a huge crater that's formed there. Comes up a little short there, comes up short again. That's going to cost him some tenths.
So take a look here. If you're viewing us on YouTube, we put up a poll halfway through who will take the win. Fee Long Nguyen, 42%. Mason Fuller, 29%. Mayfield, 27%. Van Dalen with 2%.
Fee Long pushing now. Starts to stretch it out. 2.7 the gap the last time by. Continues to stretch the lead out as he circulates faster than the entire field that time across the stripe.
2.5 seconds is the margin between 1 and 2. Nguyen, Fuller, Mayfield, Rivkin, Van Dalen, your top 5.
Still 16 minutes left to go in this one. Gonna be one more stop. I think they're gonna come in around 31, 32 minutes. And Mayfield and Rivkin here.
Rivkin just ran his fastest lap of the race.
Nice. Rivkin pushing hard right now on the back of Mayfield, actually closing that gap, trying to fight his way onto the final step of the podium. Mayfield showing us the bottom of the chassis in the short chute. Rivkin right in the center of the rumbles, a little bit smoother. Crosstown there. Mayfield to the outside, Rivkin to the inside. Check swing. Rivkin at the top of the hill. Here they go, double doubles, both of them nicely. Mayfield last time 38.8, this time by a little bit quicker, 38.3, but Rivkin continues to close that gap by just a little bit. 1/10 of a second to the good for Rivkin. Both of them doing the dirt slap there. Bobble there by Mayfield.
Again, once again for Mayfield.
Mayfield pushing very hard right now. Got it turned sideways. Rivkin now to the 3rd spot.
A bit of a bobble himself there, but still remains in front of Mayfield for the last spot on the podium.
Rivkin will be doing the pits here pretty soon, so Mayfield probably well aware of that. Rivkin down the straight as our more pit stops cycling through. Setzer and Wilson in and out of the pits.
So Nguyen and Fuller, your top two. Checking out our battle for the 3rd spot. Rivkin versus Mayfield. Rivkin the 1 and 3rd. Mayfield sitting there in 4th. And Mayfield took a look there, but he put the peak, got back behind him. He tries to challenge Rivkin and get away with him with the open track right there sitting in front of him.
Rivkin went a little
there goes
wide.
Mayfield. He makes the move for 3rd.
Mayfield now back to 3rd. Rivkin made a bit of a bobble there. And Rivkin to the pits. Very aggressive line into the pits.
Great work by him getting on pit road. You mentioned there, Charlie. Super aggressive getting on there.
Rivkin 5.5 as we pick up Fee and Fuller at the front. Fuller has closed that gap. We look back here. Fee had a 40, a 38, and a 38. Meanwhile,
Fuller on pit road, so does Fee.
Both of them come in together. Down and away. Problem for Fee, a flame out. Our top qualifier and leader not coming out of the pits on that one. 15 seconds, 16 seconds, still trying to get it fired. It will not cooperate.
His crew working on it frantically there. You see there on your bottom right screen, he finally gets it going. There's a shot of Fee himself. Tough break for our race leader.
That is Nitro Racing. Frustration there for Fee, and as you see it, trying to make something happen. That's going to drop him down probably 3, 4, maybe more spots. Fuller now to the top spot with a gift from the RC gods in the form of a flameout for Fee Nguyen in the pit lane.
We'll see what the margin will be when they come back around, but it's Mason Fuller now in front. Owen just takes a tumble there, but gets it going. All controlled. He still remains the race leader.
Rivkin now to 3rd. So it's Fuller, Mayfield, Rivkin at the front of this one. Nguyen and Van Dalen rounding out our top 5. After, this falling apart for Fee.
There's Fuller.
Stop watching that as we pick back our leader. Fee's still on the lead lap, but doing himself no favors right now. And then we see her off camera. Mayfield with the crash in the back that may allow Rivkin to slide by. But Fuller, cool and calm as he picks his way around the track. He's done this before, wants to do it again. Multiple back-to-back champions here at the Silver State Championship. It is not common, and they are some of the legends in the industry.
So a tough break for Nguyen. He still sits in the 4th spot. As of right now, 29 seconds behind the race leader and Mason Fuller.
Rivkin now to the 2 spot as you see Mayfield with a 41-second lap time. He came in the pits at the 27-minute mark. Rivkin comfortably now into the 2 spot. He's got a little bit of breathing room. 3.4 seconds over Mayfield at the moment. Lutz just into the pits.
So Fuller, an 18.5 second lead with 11 minutes to go for Mason Fuller.
Pick up Rivkin now all alone in the 2 spot. As we heard from race control, Mayfield had another bobble. Rivkin charging hard down the hill. Left-hander now.
Yeah, we just heard from our race control. They're the top. Every single car still out there racing and competing. All 15.
Saxton at the top telling Spencer to pick it up. 39.1 that time by for Rivkin. Fuller with a 38.4. Mayfield with a 38.6. 2.9 seconds now the gap between Spencer and Rivkin. You can see, or Spencer and Mayfield, rather. You can see Mayfield. They got a couple lap cars in between them. Those will be a non-factor. But Mayfield, they're third in line just off the bottom of the screen.
Rivkin, that last lap, just ran a 39.1.
It's not great.
He followed up with here on this lap. He comes back around for the final corner. Rivkin, after a 39.1, he comes back and gets a 38.4. Still about 0.3 slower than Fuller for his last lap.
But most importantly, quicker than Mayfield as he opens the gap up now to 3.2 seconds. Rivkin trying to make something happen here. Has had a very rough go of his first few years of 8-scale racing. Great to see him here at the front doing battle with these guys. Catches the pipe there, but able to save it. Rivkin hitting his marks nicely. He's going to go double, a little crosstown there, wiggle in the air. Fuller with a 39.1 that time by. That's going to allow Rivkin an opportunity to make up some time. Not going to do it. 39.2 as we take Rivkin on our top screen, Fuller on our bottom screen. See Fuller at that far side, already doing the 4-pack. The gap is huge as it's a nearly 20-second lead for Mason Fuller. That's more than a half a lap, and Fuller just checked in with his hot lap.
To the left of your screen, Van Dalen at 5.84 as he just came down pit road in that 4th position.
Our race leader, you see him there, has lapped Nguyen in the 5 spot. Was racing with him a few laps ago and now finds himself putting a -1. Another hot lap, same hot lap as before. So Fuller on a mission right now. He's folded in the mirrors, he rolled up the windows, he turned the heat on. He needs everything he can get. As Mayfield now into the pits at the 36-minute mark. That'll be his final stop. Mayfield going to try to put his head down and reel these guys in. Rivkin's going to have one more stop. Fuller's going to have one more stop. So Mayfield and Van Dalen may be able to cycle through a little bit closer. Mayfield could get in contact with Rivkin, and if Fuller has anything go wrong, cue the Jaws music. 8 minutes still to go in this one. Expect our final group of pit stops to start to happen. As we mentioned, Mayfield and Van Dalen already done with their pit stops at the 36-minute mark.
Under 8 minutes to go. Mason Fuller, a 19.5-second lead right now on the field, putting on a clinic now. We've already seen Nguyen. They were both battling for the lead. Fee had a problem on pit road. He got it going, but he falls back to 5th, and it's Mason Fuller's race. 19.5 seconds as far as the lead, with 7.5 minutes to go.
Be interesting. Fee had some problems at the start. They had to call for the 2 minutes of grace, and they were working on the tune and obviously missed it just a little bit because it flamed out when they went to refuel, and Fuller stays out one more lap. He'll probably be coming in this next time by. Rivkin came in at the 31-minute mark. He's going to need one more as well. Him and Fuller actually came in together. So Rivkin has a 14-second lead over Mayfield. That may work out for him to make his pit stop and hold on to the track position. Don't want to be racing with Mayfield, that's for sure. Rivkin into the pits.
5.86. Mason Fuller, Spencer Rivkin, Ryan Mayfield 3rd, 4th Seth Van Dalen 5th, Nguyen 6th, Jared Wiggins 7th, Reno Savoya
Fuller
8th, Adam Drake 9th, Ryan Lutz 10th, Frankie Contreras Jr.
All right, so Fuller in and out of the pits. He's going to maintain that huge lead that he had. That'll cooling down a little bit here in the final stages as Fuller, Rivkin, Mayfield at the top.
Savoya there with that 5.7 pit stop.
Nice. Trying to make something happen. Looks like Mayfield and Van Dalen may be running nose to tail now. Mayfield across the line on his outlap. Van Dalen on a 38.6. Couple seconds separating Techno teammates Mayfield and Van Dalen for 3rd and 4th. Team associated Spencer Rivkin running in that 2 spot. And your reigning Pro Nitro Buggy champion in the S-Works, Mason Fuller, leads the way right now They're scheduled to do 69 laps in this one. They're out on lap 60 at the moment. Rivkin across the line. 38-1, not too shabby. Trying to hit his marks. Best finishes Rivkin had in 8 scale if he can keep it together. But still a lot of time remaining, 5 minutes and some change. Rivkin coming down the hill, working with some traffic, getting tons of space. Drops down now. Smashes the brakes, makes that right-hand turn. And as we back to our race leader, Mason Fuller.
Under 5 minutes to go. 40 minutes into this event. Mason Fuller is 5 minutes away from going back-to-back. Can he finish?
Oh, little miscue.
It's a little dicey there as he holds a 17.5-second lead.
As he reminded himself there's a big pothole on the inside, so he just touched it a little bit. As we drop back down to 4th place runner, Seth Van Dalen. Van Dalen trying to reel up on the back of his teammate Mayfield. See him about 2.5 seconds ahead of Van Dalen here.
And we've talked about it here, Charlie, this week, about Mason Fuller. He's been pretty quiet this week. We haven't seen much about him. The eyes have been on Ryan Mayfield, Van Dalen, Rivkin, a lot of these guys all week on Fee. But Mason Fuller, you still got to give him his flowers. He's been there in these events, but just as far as running up front, he hasn't been able to get there. Now, with a 17-second lead, 3.5 minutes to go.
Mayfield now feeling the pressure as Van Dalen just checked in with his personal hot lap of 37.5. So Van Dalen reeling in Ryan Mayfield, who had a couple rough laps in a row of 38.7 and 39.5, while Van Dalen was just checking off 37s. Mayfield trying to run away as we drop back now to Wiggins. Jared Wiggins running in that 5 spot right now. 3 minutes, 20 seconds left to go in this one. Wiggins would love to get back into this mix. He has to bide his time and hope for some bad luck.
So as they go in right here, both double-doubles. As a look right here once again at your race leader.
Picks us up as we come down into the rumble strip there. Crash traffic, no problem. As we drop back now to 3rd place runner Van Dalen. He had gotten by Mayfield. You see a rough one there for Mayfield with a 40.9 a lap ago. That allowed Van Dalen to get by. I think I heard from race control it was an unforced error, and Mayfield with a 41 that time by. 2.5 still to go in this one as Fuller continues to lead Rivkin and now Van Dalen. It's a 3-way manufacturers battle at the front, but the class of the field has been Mason Fuller. On board here, still with Van Dalen. And we pick up our race leader Fuller in the closing stages as he's got nobody around, an 18-second lead here in our Pro Nitro Buggy A final at the 2026 Silver State Indoor Championships from the South Point Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada. Fuller trying to be another back-to-back Pro Nitro Buggy champion. He won all 4 classes last year. Wants to win Pro Nitro this year, has it in his grasp, just has to keep it together here for the final 90 seconds. Rivkin in that 2 spot from 7th on the grid, a very impressive run from Spencer. Seth Van Dalen with the race not going his way, started 2nd, finds himself in the 3rd spot. Mayfield running 4th with Wiggins in that 5 spot. Our top qualifier, Fee Long Nguyen, had a flame out on pit stop number 4 after some last-minute tuning before the start of this one. As Fuller continues to lead the way. That's Wiggins and Mayfield, I think. No, Fuller coming through lapping people now, my bad. Fuller down the hill. He is lapped through 4th place, Ryan Mayfield. That's not something you hear very often. Fuller with a 38.9 last time by, 40 seconds left to go. He's scheduled to go 69 laps in a 45:02. He's going to make it across. No, that's it. He's out on final lap right now. White flag waving as he came across the line. It's checkers and wreckers. As Mason Fuller may have this one in the bag. Works his way to the top side section. Coming through the speed rumblers. Up and over the speed jump. Here we go to the right-hander. Downhill double. Over jumps for safety. Through the flats one more time. The real question for Mason Fuller, is it paper or plastic? Because he's got this one in the bag. Fuller across the line, back-to-back Silver State Pro Nitro Buggy champion. Spencer Rivkin and Seth Van Dalen still got a score to settle here. Rivkin pushing hard to the line. We're watching the ticker. Rivkin has to keep it clean. Van Dalen wants a piece of it. Rivkin just ahead of this group. And it looks like Rivkin going to come home second. Seth Van Dalen going to be third. Mayfield going to have to settle for the -1 lap, finishing in the 4th position. Our top qualifier, Fee Long Nguyen with a heartbreaker, going to finish in the 5 spot. Biggest mover in the field, Jaron Wiggins, +6 positions, going 12th to 6th. Reno Savoya going from 11th to 7th. Adam Drake started where he finished, 8th to 8th. Then it was Lutz, Contreras, Fenster, Spinrad, Setzer, Camden Lime, and Jonah Wilson. All 15 competitors completing 45 minutes of racing action. An amazing performance put on here by our 6th qualifier, Mason Fuller. We didn't hear much from him throughout the weekend. He made it happen when it counted. And we have got Mason Fuller on the driver's stand with Ford Martin. Take it away, boys.
And we are here with our champion, Mason Fuller, back to back. How does that sound?
Pretty nice. I mean, I was not expecting that after how the week's been going. Hasn't been going that good. Top 5 like every run. And just didn't really wreck. Fee, unfortunately, we were going to battle it out to the end, but he had some engine problems in pit lane, but that sucks. But happy to get the win. So
You and I had a conversation after practice on Wednesday, and you were still trying to adjust the track. And like you mentioned, just you weren't expecting the win today, but just after practice, you were still trying to adjust the track. From there to now, what things did you try during the week to help you get better for today?
Yeah, so I mean the track's been way drier all week compared to last time since we have the heaters on in the building now. So that changed everything for me because I kind of came in with my setup from last year. Thought it would be good. It wasn't. So we made a lot of changes and got the car really good at the end.
How are we celebrating tonight?
I don't know. We'll probably drink a little, go bowling. We'll see.
Anybody you want to thank here before we head on off?
All my sponsors, S-Works, Beach RC, J Concepts, Reds, Exalt, Nitro Pro, One Army, everyone. So thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
All right, that's Mason Fuller, your Pro Nitro Buggy champion here at Silver State in Las Vegas. Charlie, back to you.
What a great final. Mason Fuller, Spencer Rivkin, Seth Van Dalen going to claim the podium here at the 2026 Silver State Indoor Championships presented by Techno. It's been a great several days here in the South Point Hotel and Casino in Vegas.